Aha! All right, Tom, so do you want to announce what you're going to sing, and we'll dig in then?
Sure.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Tom Roberts, and I'll be singing Ich hole nicht by Robert Schumann. Ich hole nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ich hole nicht, wie du auch strahlst in Diamantenpracht, es fällt ein Strahl in deines Herzens Nacht, das weiß ich längst. Ich hole nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ich sah dich ja in Traume und sah die Nacht in deines Herzens Raume und sah die Schlange, die dir ein Herz zerfrisst. Ich sah mein Lieb, wie sel und elend bist. Ich hole nicht, ich hole nicht.
Excellent. Excellent. Man, I'm just so proud of you every time that you sing this. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Seeing it, even the video from Tuesday till today, there's clear improvement, greater ease, a little bit more calm, I would argue, and see if, back me up if I'm right here, greater awareness of body, right?
Totally.
Yeah, awesome. So, other things I just want to compliment you. Are you okay? We're going to lose our confidence. I want to improve or compliment you as well on the improvement of the legato, the real legato line, especially some of those initial phrases. The energy of that breath continues, it begins with the inhalation and continues all the way through the release of those phrases. As a result, when you listen to a recording of anything you've done recently, check out those moments when you are most engaged, most energized and aware, and that legato is there. Listen for the vibrato rate. Have you noticed a difference at all? What do you hear?
Whenever I would have moments of being tense in the past, it would really speed up the vibrato would anyway, but now it's much more calm and not necessarily a wobble faster than that. You know?
Right, it's not a wobble. It's
Right
that
right.
absolute honey zone that we want to end
Right.
up in. Exactly. So that's, and Tom, because obviously you're in PED, and we're always kind of relating things back to what are we listening for as well in other singers. Anytime in yourself or in any of your students that vibrato rate is in that happy zone, that's a good sign. That's a good symptom that things are going well. So I just wanted to compliment you on all those things first and foremost. Now, I thought today, because one of the things that's still, well, you tell me, I don't want to insert this on you. Where does tension or getting fixed still tend to creep in at places?
From time to time, I tend to lean back a little bit here once in a while, and that feeds up into my neck, trying to bring it forward, and then head to tight to TMJ as well.
Yeah. Tom, I absolutely agree with you that was how I wanted to work on this with you today, because we only have a half an hour. Clearly, we could do all the body mapping stuff for like an entire day. It's so fun. There's so much. But what I wanted to look at was some of the organization of the lower body and some of the pelvis area to check out its relationship to the torso as well as its relationship to the legs. Because I think if you and I continue to map this area of your body a little bit in greater detail, that's going to greatly impact the ease in the upper body, which we've already seen happen. So if it's okay with you, can we hang out there? First, I was going through some of my body mapping videos last night, as I do for fun. And I thought it was worth it to show you the back versus core video, just as a kind of refresher, get us back in touch with the spine before we move on to the pelvis stuff today. So for what it's worth. essential those cervical vertebrae and the lumbar are for sure. Which is what happens, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. I thought that was worth it. There's more there that's great content, but just to relate that to, for you've done great work, I think, in your body map of throughout the day and in calmer moments, finding out, am I around the middle, or am I throwing that weight back there? It tends to be, when does this tend to happen for you? The throwing your weight backward?
Anytime I become fixed, for sure. And usually if I'm any passages where I actually leap up, for sure.
Yeah, with ascending phrases,
Yeah.
right? Greater breath energy, you kind of link that with, okay, now I gotta help by leaning back. So of course, anything you can do to keep reminding yourself of that reality of staying easy around the center will be really helpful. Now, I wanted to show you a couple pictures of all the muscles we're talking about. Now, the thing is we want all these muscles in your back to be free and easy because they have nothing to do with breath energy, singing a higher pitch, or holding you upright, okay? So all of these muscles are easy, and you know what? When they're long and free, you tend to feel really wide in the back. That's what many people tend to say. So as you're standing, Tom, take a couple breaths and see if you can, looking at all those many muscles, equate that with the width that's possible. It's almost like with every couple breaths, you might even be able to find there's more width, there's more freedom. Now, the muscles I wanted for us to focus in on today are actually our glutes. I wanted to go there simply because these muscles impact the torso as well as impact the legs. The glute muscles actually attach here at the sacrum, which is the last big bone at the base of the spine itself. So we have these muscles attaching here. They wrap and spiral around and actually then attach at the hip joints. From the hip joints, they spiral again and go down to the knee. So we literally have this connection of muscles that are up here relating to the spine being a unit, also relating to having free legs. Okay? So, let me see if I can give you one other image for that. Bear with me to find it here for a second. How do you think that might impact then kind of your picture as you sing, as I find that image I'm looking for?
One thing my tendency is to tuck. I'm always aware of the fact that I tuck my hips underneath.
Yeah.
And I lose the bottom half of my body at that point.
Right. And as you said before, so absolutely correctly and intuitively and very smartly, that's a word, is that if I'm tucking, it creeps up here.
Right.
There's just that impact, and here's why. There again, I want to show you that these muscles, there's this wrapping around nature that we have to the muscles themselves, that if we start to tighten here, we're going to end up then, tightening back here in these lower back muscles. All right? So, as odd as it seems, you might not have thought of this before, but I just want to check in with you and see, are your glutes easy? When they are, they're going to be wide. Oftentimes, again, just like when you free your back muscles, people will say, but my rear end feels like it's as wide as a barn. That's awful. No one likes it. But it didn't get any wider, I promise you. It's just that it's free. Okay, we're going to see if that has any impact. So, you want to do some weird stuff with me?
Sure.
All right, we're going to do it. I did this, I think, with Brittany before. We did a little bit of squatting. Okay, so why don't you can go ahead and take center stage there, sir. And what I'm going to have you do is have your feet wide enough apart that if you squat, a couple things are true. You can have your heels still on the ground, and you're going to still be upright. All right, rather than leaning forward. At this point, I want this pretty upright. So go ahead and have a go with that. Excellent. So see if you probably have to have your feet a little wider apart. There we go, better. So that you can be on your heels. Yep, and see if you can, if at all possible. There you go, now you're getting there. So it's pretty upright. You can even bounce a little. It's like I should have worn bigger jeans. So you can get that sense of here's the whole upper half of my body. Okay, so we have movement obviously at your hip joints. We can be easy here. Say, oh yeah!
Oh, yeah!
Hey!
Hey!
Nice. So you're singing and making sound with that whole upper half of you being a nice, complete unit. Okay? Let's try a little bit of each roll and each at the beginning. Let's squat and bounce. Why not?
Ich wolle nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lieb.
Oh, we'll start from the beginning. It was great. I think I startled you too. Good for you. What did you notice though while we're stopped, Tom?
Much like if you're bending over a chair as of right now, I'm kind of feeling all the extra room that my stomach tries to have anyway against my legs.
Excellent. So you're releasing more here. You may feel, Tom, because we have that real movement at that hip joint, that side-facing hip joint, the pelvic floor is going to be, it's pretty hard to fix it off when you're squatting. It's going to give more upon inhalation.
Right.
You feel that? Yeah. And so just enjoy those things. That's happening. As best as you can to stay kind of upright, as best as you can. I know it's tricky. So let's try again.
Ich wolle nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ich wolle nicht, ich wolle nicht.
So let's talk for a minute. Okay, so the first phrase, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a whole torso was released for you. Now it's interesting that the balance was tougher in those couple of phrases. What might have felt different to you? Could you tell, if anything? We got tougher to.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I actually could feel my pelvic floor giving. Actually, I think it was anyway. So I was breathing here. I was naturally pushing against my legs, caused me to go backwards anyway.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I like that you felt that release here. That's awesome.
Right.
I wonder if you can also enjoy the release back here as well, so that it isn't only that, oh God, here we go. And that's part of why you'll practice this at home too. I mean, especially it's nice and private and you can feel ridiculous with by yourself. But you can have that give, the tummy absolutely, but I think you're going to find there's actual widening as you inhale here as well.
Okay.
And the real lower back, because in Andover we say the lower back, meaning of course the glute muscles are going to release too. Do you have any one last time? It doesn't have to be perfect, but just to observe. Let's try it.
Ich rolle nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ich rolle nicht, ich rolle nicht.
Nice, already better.
Du machst
We
das.
can pause there. What'd you feel? The groove.
It was for sure, I was having an awareness in my back for sure. I can feel widening here, and also, as you touch my back here, I have to make sure I can let my, as much as I can anyway, my rib cage swing as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent. So the pictures I showed you earlier of all these external muscles, just wanted to give that image to you. Bring the front and the back, because all of those are free. They're all movable, so we can make other expressive gestures. I could move my arms.
Right.
I could catch something if someone throws it at me. Those kinds of things, right? But they're separate from the breathing mechanism in terms of making air go in and out, right? I'm not having to do that with those lower back muscles. And they're also separate from, I got to go upright or get a high pitch. Yeah, or stay upright, I should say. I want to grab a chair real quick. I think there's some in the back. We're going to try another element to this. Good gracious, let's start right here. So you ever get you're the keeper of the lights, aren't you? This is here. I want to relate this again now. Sound a little bit gonna do this, right? So it's nice to check back in with a movement from nature. It tells us that those side-facing hips, they're moving, they're free, therefore your pelvic floor can be involved. Now, when you're sitting, what I want to do is also check in with that hip joint a little bit to find that freedom, as well as enjoy the fact that when I release to inhale, the movement of those lower back muscles. So as you sit, Tom, this time we're going to have you first do a little bit of these kind of windshield wiper motions at the hip just to get, find that freedom and the separation of the legs in terms of how movable they are.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're sitting on those sitting bones, right? Good, excellent. So you kind of see, can you sense where that hip joint is a little bit? How would you describe it?
I can't remember how high it is, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
How would I describe it? It swings out, I mean,
You keep talking, I'm going to finish here. Yep.
and actually as I do this, I can feel how much more movement there is in my lower back. Anyway, I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Uh-huh.
And how much more freedom there can be.
I like that. Right, so that when your legs are free and energized and movable, you're going to also have a wide, free lower back. All right, again, that's just, they interact with the muscles that wrap around. Check it out here. If you look from the side, remember this is where that hip joint is. We've seen this in head way back when, right? You're facing that way. So if you feel, you can stand for a sec. Feel for the, this is called the greater trochanter. Feel your leg bone on the outside where the big part of the leg bone is. That's probably a little high. Better. So if you feel, first you can feel the upper part of the pelvis, the iliac crest. And palpate down a few inches, and you're going to feel that big bone of the thigh bone. Yeah, now up and in of that about maybe an inch or two faces the side, but that's actually where the hip joint is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you sit, that's kind of a good moment to feel that as well. Squatting gives you that sensation. And they're pretty wide apart as well. Sometimes if we picture our hips in more, it's just also going to encourage that kind of tucking feeling. But they're pretty wide to the sides as well as to the sides, I think is what I was trying. What my train of thought was there. Last picture here. There you can see. That's that greater trochanter, the thigh bone that you feel. It's up and in of that a little bit on the side. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. So sitting, let's go ahead and sing a few of those phrases again. Yep, moving the legs, windshield wipers. Nice. Let's try it.
Ich rolle nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ewig verlorenes Lieb, ich rolle nicht, ich rolle nicht.
We'll pause there again. Just we'll play with that first little section for a bit here. Now, when was it easier or harder? Did you notice a difference for letting the legs be easy and swingable? Were there moments when that became more of a labored effort?
Yeah.
When?
When I was concentrating on singing.
Yeah. Sure.
But when I would do an ascending pattern, actually I could feel
Bingo.
that tension back here, and then we could see my legs actually slow up there.
Yeah, and so today, my goal for us today is to relate the tucking to what happens in the lower back as well as what happens to the legs, to see that they're both so interrelated, so that we can you can picture free hips and free lower back and have therefore energy and movement possible still in your legs as you sing, rather than you having to be, okay, don't tuck,
Right.
there it went, right? So we give you that positive image to go to first each time. Now the first phrase you have is there, right? The first phrase, it's balanced, it's movable, you could do that all day. What if when pitch ascends, there isn't any extra that you have to add?
Okay.
And I know that's easy to say, but it all has to do with what you picture, all right? What you picture first, what's going to be in your mind, do you think, as you go through it this last time?
Sure, I know where I'm breathing from and being aware. of how much room I have in my back and how much I'm using.
Yeah, but that can move, right?
Right.
It's going to widen because those muscles are free. Especially upon inhalation, as all the guts get squished, there'll be a little pressure on it from the inside, so it's going to widen even more. Excellent. Yep. So we're going to think about that. How about that the side-facing hip joints can move all the time?
Sure.
Yeah, awesome. And that can just be there each time, regardless of if the pitch goes up or not.
Okay.
Okay? Here we go.
Ich hole nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lied, ewig verlorenes Lied, ich hole nicht, ich hole nicht, wie du auch sagst.
Sam will start standing now. Same thing, all right? Same relationship. Now you're going to be doing the little windshield wipers? No. But you're going to have that awareness of where that joint is, the movability there, and the width that you so beautifully allowed to have happen every single breath.
Ich hole nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lied, ewig verlorenes Lied, ich hole nicht, ich hole nicht.
I'm going to stop you one more time. We will go on,
Yeah.
I promise. But hey, that's
Better, yeah.
better, right? That was better. And you were making some adjustments as you were singing. What did you find you had to let go a little bit? In some of those breaths, I saw you were like, oh, I gotta do something.
And kind of like tied it in through my entire glutes actually, off from my pelvic floor to my lower back.
Yes.
And how much more freedom there is there. It's not just pelvic floor, but it can be all the way through.
Exactly. All of these muscles
Right.
are going to be a part of that. And they're spiraling. I mean, to me, that was something that, I don't know, never really struck me that much until I started really looking at those muscles to see that the pattern that comes from lower back around to hip. So having a free lower back and a free hip matters, right? And that also then relates to my knees. So knees are locked, you know you're losing this relationship, right? Easy knees, that's a good part of it. But it's also, of course, as you said, letting these muscles around and with the glutes let go. They're wide. All right, let's try that one last time. We'll go a little bit further.
Okay.
Great. Easy hip.
Ich hole nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ewig verlorenes Lied,
Go wide.
ewig verlorenes Lied, ich hole nicht, ich hole nicht, wie du auch standst in Diamantenpracht, es wird kein Stahl in deines Herzens Nacht, das weiß ich längst. Ich hole nicht, und wenn das Herz auch bricht, ich sah dich ja in Traume und sah die Nacht in deines Herzens Raume und sah die Schlange, die dir dein Herzen frisst. Ich sah mein Lieb, wie sehr du dir bist. Ich hole nicht, ich hole nicht.
What do you think? What do you notice?
Better, and actually it gives me more capability, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I sometimes talk a lot about the gesture and being around, around the center, absolutely. But there's also this around portion here,
Right.
This spiral that occurs that when you release, you get that widening and that those muscles let go and get longer and wider as well. It's awesome to see. You can tell if that's happening for me, from my perspective, just simply by the movements that you see all throughout the whole torso. It's just so universal. Letting go there and letting this be wide. It's amazing, the ripple effect. that ends up occurring. Did you find that too?
Yeah, for sure.
How about your thoughts? Were you able to be a little slower? You know how we talk about that sometimes too, not...
Well, doing that correctly adds more capability, like I was talking before, and having that in mind doesn't really require a lot of thinking after that, if you will. So
I love it.
Yeah.
It's simple, isn't it? It's just I
Yeah.
picture this, I do this again,
Yeah.
I do the same thing again. Yeah, regardless of the excitement or intensity of the phrase, it's the same coordination that gets you through.
Right.
Yeah. So you're performing this tonight,
Mm-hmm.
right? I dare you to be this simple tonight.
Okay.
That this is your chore you're going to give yourself. I'm going to let those muscles be released, lengthening. If ever there is that shortening and tightening, the next breath, I release around the center again, including down low and through my hips and into my legs. See what happens. I dare you. It's going to be tempting to say, now I'm going to sing the heck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do this. It's stunning. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm obviously recording this for my own use. I'm happy to, once I figure out how to upload it, send this to you because I want you to hear the difference in the vibrato too.
Okay.
Even those more intense phrases are chilling out.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Not simple, just white rare.
What was that?
You just need to imagine your white rare.
Just a wide rear end. That's all you need.
Some people don't even need to imagine. We're just practicing 8 hours a day.
That's right. Why am I not the pet, right? Oh, that's funny.